I want to get some perspective on this now from Capitol Hill. Republican Congressman Jim Renacci of Ohio joins me now. He serves on the Budget and House Ways and Means committees. Congressman, you supported the bill in its original form. You're supporting it again. Why do you think other members of the GOP are not?
Well, first off, the Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, will not be able to continue to move forward. We're already seeing collapses and exchanges, so we have to do something.
But put that aside, this specific bill at hand, why are you supporting it and others are not? What's the sticking point for others?
Well, I'm not sure. You're going to have to talk to them. I know that as I looked at this bill, this gets us back to a point where we can start to repeal and repair the Affordable Care Act. It's a starting point, not a finishing point. It's a beginning, not an end. I think that's the most important thing.
How do people vote? Blind faith on a starting point? You don't even have a CBO score.
Well, it's a process. Look, we know that it's going to pass out of the House at some point in time. It's going to go to the Senate. It's going to come back to the House and Senate. There are opportunities to change it, amend it, fix it, get it better. But if the process just stalls, nothing gets done. I'm a big believer that we have to follow a process. I want to see it get out of the House. It has a lot of good provisions. It's not the most perfect bill, but nothing's going to be perfect. So let's move it forward. Let's get it to the Senate. Let's let the Senate change some things, which they're going to do. Let's get the scores. And before we finish and vote for the bill, the final bill, we'll have all that information.
Help me understand, though, why not make it better now? If you were talking to your kids, you'd say, put your very best foot forward. When we think about sick people, the president said in his remarks on Sunday, for people with pre-existing conditions, this bill, this plan, will take care of people every bit as well as Obamacare did. And for people with pre-existing conditions, that's not the case as it stands.
Well, Stephanie, first off, when you're talking to your children, it's just you. Today, down here is 435 members, which I've learned is very frustrating for me as a businessman who used to make those decisions by himself. But here you have to bring compromise together. You have to bring 435 people together. You have to bring people willing to make some compromise to move bills forward. So do I think it's the best and perfect? No. But when you have 435 people and you have a political system in the middle of it, it's the best we can get today to move it forward. It will get better as it gets to the Senate. It will even get better as it becomes a final bill.
As it relates to cost, this Republican plan could put some sick people into these high-risk pools as a way of continuing coverage. And the AARP has evaluated it and said these high-risk pools, if they start in 2019, average premiums for people with pre-existing conditions would be about $25,000 a year. That doesn't seem accessible. That seems like, nope, you won't be covered.
Well, one thing I've learned about Washington, too, in my short 6-year tenure is that every time you put something out, somebody comes up with some reason why or why not you should vote for something. I think in the end, what we have to do is we have to make the healthcare system better. I think this does. I also am a big believer in moving it out of the one-size-fits-all federal mentality to the individual states. If a governor wants to change this, the plans and go for a waiver, then he or she will have certain requirements to meet that waiver. As part of that waiver requirement, they'll have to have this high-risk pool, so nobody will lose coverage. Coverage will continue, and that's the thing we have to make sure people understand. Now, what might it change? Might even be better. When you have 50 states with an opportunity waiver, and by the way, none of the states may take the waiver, but at least they have the opportunity to do it, and at least they have the opportunity to bring costs down. One of the biggest issues we have today, Stephanie, is that people are paying too much. They're not able to get their coverage because of high deductibles. The system isn't working today. I can give you countless issues where it's not working, from family members to friends to constituents. It's not working, so we have to make it better.
Then why not tweak it? Why not improve it? Why shred it up? Clearly, trying to start over appears to be difficult. Why not work with Democrats on improving the system that exists?
Well, I've said all along that we need to work together to get some things done. We need to take a look at it. But let's face it, I was also in the construction industry, and sometimes when you leave pieces of a building up, it costs more. It costs absolutely more to repair and replace. So sometimes it's better to start all over. And I think what we're doing is we're keeping some of the basic foundations in there, but we're moving it forward. And that's the best way to move forward. Otherwise, what you're going to have is arguments about every little piece inside this bill. Let's keep this, let's eliminate that. 435 people, you know as well as I do, it becomes a very difficult process. We need to move it forward.
Indeed it does. All right, Congressman, thanks for sharing your thoughts.